Hey there, Ulster history enthusiasts. Today we're looking into the history of the Ulster Special Constabulary, also known as the USC or B Specials. This group played a pivotal role in the history of Northern Ireland. Formed in 1920, the USC was established during a period of intense conflict and partition. During the course of 1920, Southern Ireland started to slide into anarchy and chaos. Sir Basil Brooke, a Fermanagh landowner and future Prime Minister of Northern Ireland, witnessed this at first hand as he visited his wife during her confinement in Dublin. With a view to averting such a descent into anarchy in Ulster, in April 1920 Brooke organised Fermanagh Vigilance, which to all intents and purposes was the pre-First World War Ulster volunteer force in the county reactivated. At the Belfast 12th demonstration, Sir Edward Carson, the Unionist leader, spoke of the state of the country and warned the government, "If you are yourselves unable to protect us from the machinations of Sinn Féin, we will take the matter into our own hands. We will reorganise." Shortly afterwards, the Ulster Unionist Council, the governing body of political unionism, entrusted the responsibility of reviving the pre-war Ulster Volunteer Force to Lieutenant Colonel Wilfred Spender. Sir James Craig also demanded the creation of a special constabulary, but effectively the purpose of his call was to legitimise what was already in existence. In formal terms, the creator of the Ulster Special Constabulary was Sir Ernest Clark, who in September 1920 was appointed Additional Assistant Under-Secretary in the Irish Office with particular administrative responsibility for the area which was to form Northern Ireland. Sir Ernest recognised the urgent necessity of creating an armed force of special constables to deal with the rapidly deteriorating situation. Using powers available to him under the Special Constables Act, 1832, he set about his task enthusiastically and energetically. Within 5 weeks of his appointment, on October 22, 1920, he published details of the new Special Constabulary, which was to comprise 3 categories. The A Specials. These were to be paid and would be full-time, only serving within the division where they were recruited. They would have the same arms and equipment as the Royal Irish Constabulary, the B Specials. These were to be part-time and unpaid, apart from a small allowance for service and wear and tear of clothes. Their arms were to be determined by the police county commander. They were to undertake occasional duty, usually 1 evening per week, exclusive of training drills, in an area convenient to members, day duties being required only in an emergency. The C Specials. They were to be a reserve force and were only to be called out in case of emergency. Initially, recruitment, which commenced on November 1, 1920, was confined to Belfast and County Tyrone, but was soon extended to all the counties which were to form Northern Ireland. By the end of 1920, the Special Constabulary totaled nearly 3,500 A constables, 16,000 B constables, and over 1,000 C constables. The years which witnessed the birth pangs of Northern Ireland were violent, as the Irish Republican Army sought to destroy the new state. Between June 21, 1920 and June 18, 1922, it has been calculated that 428 people were killed and a further 1,766 wounded. Over half of these occurred in 1922. In that year, 232 people, including 2 Unionist MPs, were killed, nearly 1,000 wounded, and more than £3 million worth of property destroyed. The historian R.B. McDowell recalls childhood memories of these years in his most recent book, Crisis and Decline, 1997. One bright evening I stood at a window, looking out on an eerily deserted and silent Belfast street. Curfew was in force. Suddenly I heard footsteps and saw a patrol of B Specials, decent middle-aged men with police caps and armlets, carrying themselves with solemn determination. I felt reassured. C.E. Duffin, son of a prominent unionist, told his mother that he found his first patrol as a B Special dull work. However, it was often dangerous work, as the USC's Roll of Honour testifies. In these years, the B Specials were Northern Ireland's main counterinsurgency force. The effectiveness of the B Specials in quelling IRA activity was acknowledged by the officer commanding the IRA's 3rd Northern Division, who admitted that deployment of the B men had forced him to abandon flying columns in Antrim and Down within 2 weeks of a planned offensive in the summer of 1922. In the western part of Northern Ireland, the IRA's 2nd Northern Division, and in Armagh, the 4th Northern Division, suffered a similar fate. Northern Ireland's survival therefore owed much, if not everything, to the sterling service of the USC. By July-August 1922, the IRA in Northern Ireland had been defeated. The services of the A Specials were dispensed with and the C Specials were never heard of again. Only the B Specials survived. The B Specials acquired uniforms, continued to perform duty once a week and to drill and train. Platoon inter-county and province-wide shooting competitions became important events in the B Specials calendar, and many B men became very proficient marksmen. There were disturbances in a variety of centres in the early 1930s, but apart from serious rioting in Belfast in 1935, which was mercifully of short duration, there was nothing remotely comparable to the murder and mayhem unleashed by the IRA in the early years of Northern Ireland's existence. If these years were largely quiet and uneventful, it was so, as a consequence of the service and selfless devotion of the men of the USC. In May 1940, the Northern Ireland government established the Home Guard, which was initially called the Local Defence Volunteers. The B Specials formed the nucleus of the Home Guard and was somewhat anomalously placed under the control of the RUC rather than the Army. During the war, there was serious concern about IRA activity. There had been an IRA bombing campaign on the mainland before the war. The IRA had also established contacts with Nazi agents, England's danger being Ireland's opportunity, long having been one of the Republican movement's maxims. For most of the war, however, the IRA was quiescent, and apart from a gun battle in the Lower Falls on April 5, 1942, that largely remained the situation. The lack of IRA activity was in large measure due to the vigilance of the B Specials. The 1956-62 IRA campaign. On December 12, 1956, the IRA launched 10 simultaneous attacks on targets in Northern Ireland, following on from incidents the previous month when a Republican splinter group had attacked 6 border customs posts. These incidents marked the beginning of a campaign largely waged along the border, which lasted until February 1962. The IRA campaign prompted the mobilization of many members of the B Specials. Their intimate knowledge of their local area greatly restricted the IRA's capacity to conduct an effective campaign. The campaign resulted in the deaths of 8 IRA men, 2 members of another Republican group and 1 IRA sympathizer, and cost the lives of 6 RUC men. Damage to property was estimated at £1 million and the cost of the security operation was £10 million. Tim Pat Coogan, historian of the IRA, has observed, "The B Specials were the rock on which any mass movement by the IRA in the North has inevitably floundered." He was right. Hence the standard Republican demand for the disbandment of the B Specials, the recent troubles. An organization styling itself the Northern Ireland Civil Rights Association came into being on February 1, 1967. Views differ according to one's political viewpoint and prejudices as to whether or not it was simply a Republican or IRA front organization. However, significantly, one of its 5 demands was for the disbandment of the B Specials. At the outbreak of the Troubles, the USC had a strength of approximately 8,500 members. Of these, 3,000 were fully mobilized to assist the RUC. The remainder were part-time volunteers. Objectively, the USC played only a very limited role in policing the Troubles, their primary responsibility being the guarding of key installations. The Cameron Report, appointed to examine the causes of the Troubles, published its report on September 12th and alleged that one of the causes of the Troubles was Roman Catholic resentment at the existence of the USC. The following month saw publication of the Hunt Report, which recommended inter alia that the RUC should become an unarmed police service and that the B Specials should be replaced by a new RUC reserve and a locally recruited part-time regiment of the British Army. Many Unionists would have readily concurred with the Reverend Ian Paisley's observation that if you want to destroy a country, pull out the teeth of her defense forces and she will be easy prey. Stand down. During its 50 years of service, the B Specials came to occupy a unique place of mythic proportions within the Unionist community. They were regarded as the embodiment of the Northern Ireland state's ability to protect itself from internal and external threat. However, the recommendations of the Hunt Report were implemented. The USC was stood down on April 30th, 1970. Under the terms of the Police Act, NI of 1970, the RUC Reserve, initially consisting of 1,500 men, came into existence. The Ulster Defence Regiment, with initially 4,000 members, became operational on April 1st, 1970. During its 50-year existence, the B Specials lost 96 officers. 55 B men lost their lives in 1922 alone. They made the ultimate sacrifice to defend and ensure the survival of the new Northern Ireland state. One officer, Special Constable Thomas Sheridan from County Cavan, only recently in 2016, had a gravestone erected in his memory in St John's Parish Church in Caledon, County Tyrone. Sheridan, a Roman Catholic, was shot dead at a vehicle checkpoint by a sniper shortly before midnight on Sunday, June 6, 1922. Richard Scott, Secretary of the Ulster Special Constabulary Association, said Mr. Sheridan deserved to be remembered for making the supreme sacrifice. He was stationed in Caledon, County Tyrone in the Royal Irish Constabulary Barracks and joined the USC 8 weeks prior to his death, he explained. He was a Roman Catholic, and due to the high tension along the newly established border and because he was a member of the USC, his family were unable to take his remains home to County Cavan for burial. So there you have it, a short history of the Ulster Special Constabulary, the B Specials. Their story is one of bravery, loyalty and honor. If you enjoyed this short history, hit that like button and subscribe for more Ulster history. Until next time, take care.